A very warm welcome to Joburg today. I'm Riley Posakwe. No celebration going into the new year would be complete without popping that bottle of champagne. That's why Veuve Clicquot gave us the 411 on how to enjoy this classy beverage.
So hello everybody, we're going to now explain how to open a bottle of champagne, how to pour the champagne in a glass. We are going to talk about the glassware obviously because it's frequent mistakes, and we're going to finish by explaining some good food pairings with the range of Veuve Clicquot. So we are now explaining how to open a bottle of champagne, and trust me, it's really important because you have to know that inside this bottle you have 6 kilos of pressure. So we can see sometimes some incredible accidents. It's sometimes funny, but sometimes a little bit less more. So first you have to keep in mind that you don't must shake the bottle. It's the most important. After that, it's really simple. In fact, we have 3 steps. First, you have to remove the foil like this. It's really easy because at Veuve Clicquot we pre-cut the foil, so you just have to do it like that. After that, we have to remove the cage, but remember of the pressure, so please keep your thumb on the cork. And to remove the cage, it's really easy. You have to pull it and after turn it. And you turn not the cork but the bottle with your right hand, like this, really slowly, and you can control the pressure inside the bottle. And after that, you will finish the opening. Okay, now let's just have a few words about the glassware. Don't forget that champagne is a wine, and the best way to serve the champagne is in a wine glass. Why? Because it's really open here at the bottom of the glass, and you can see a short closing who allows to concentrate the aromas and to keep the aroma inside of the glass. So about the pouring, if you want to keep the gas inside the glass, you have to incline a little bit your glass. In that manner, you will conserve a lot of gas inside the glass. So the first step of the tasting is always with the eye. You don't put your glass at first. You have to look at the color or the brightness of the champagne. And after that only you can put your nose, the first nose, to feel the first aromas. For example, it's really fresh for this vintage 2012. And after that you can agitate a little bit the glass to see the second kind of aromas with a little bit more evolution, like spices, vanilla, pastry nut, toasty bread. But this vintage remains very fresh. And after that, only after these 2 steps, you can put it in your mouth for a first sip. So we have 2 different categories of champagne. First, we have that we call the non-vintage champagne, for example, Yellow Label, which are elaborated with several vintage, several harvests. And on the opposite, we have this kind of bottle, the vintage champagne, only elaborates exclusively with one single harvest. For example, this vintage is elaborated from the grapes picked up in 2012. So the main difference is when you want to elaborate a single vintage bottle, you must have a fantastic vintage. The harvest and the quality of the grape must be really good. So in fact, it's easier to elaborate a vintage because nature does it for you. Whereas when you elaborate a non-vintage, you have to recreate the same blends years after years without having the same quality of grapes every year. So it's easier to do that, but it's more rare because nature is not always kind with us. So let's talk about the food pairing, which is for me really important to well appreciate champagne, especially with this kind of gastronomical wine like vintage 2012. You have to keep in mind 3 or 4 point which will help you to do the good food pairing. After that, the texture is really important. The texture of the wine, the texture of the meal. And finally, you have to have in mind the seasonality of the wine. So to pair this vintage 2012, it's really important to keep in mind that it's very fresh, very acidic. So for me, it will be better with seafood, for example. And there is a lot of character, of personality and firminess with this vintage. So this is why I've chosen to pair it with a lobster profiterole. The firminess of the flesh of the lobster will be perfectly matched with the firminess of this vintage, and the salinity of the lobster will be probably perfectly paired with the lobster. So we are really lucky because we are tasting Extra Brut Extra Old, the third version. In fact, this bottle is a tribute to the fantastic collection of reserve wine that we have at Veuve Clicquot. And it's an exclusive selection of 8 fantastic vintage from 1990 to 2014. So can you imagine that in this bottle, some wines are more than 30 years old? So this bottle is really exceptional for many reasons. First, for the complexity of the aromas, because the 8 vintages brings a lot of complexity and evolution and mature notes. You can feel a lot of toasty bread, brioche, biscuit, and at the same time a lot of spices inside. And the selection was made also for specific characteristics of the wines, for example, the acidity, the freshness, the purity, the salinity of the wine. So this is why, in my opinion, we must be open with seafood to remember the salinity, the iodic aromas, flavor, and it would be perfect with oyster. So it's a special year for us because we are now celebrating our 250th anniversary. Madame Clicquot led us a lot of things, a lot of invention, a lot of strengths, and I think we can see the future with really a lot of positive state of mind, because I think at the beginning the context was more difficult for us than for us, so I think we can have a positive state of mind.
If you're in and around Sandton and happen to be craving some authentic African cuisine, then look no further than Etikeni to satisfy your taste buds.
Etikeni is a restaurant, it has its own culture, has its own being. When you're here, literally, it's you feel different. Every single time I walks out of here, you become part of a family. Come at again, you can find something different. You know, we do specials. You come in, next minute you got a fish special, you know, and you find Peggy doing a spit braai. So no day, no experience at again is the same. Yes, you've got the culture of Ubuntu, the whole being a part of the family of Etikeni family, but literally every single time you come back, you find something new.
African food in its traditional form is the mother of all flavor. When French chefs are making stock in their kitchens, the flavor they're looking for is the flavor that we get when you have been slowly simmering a cow's head in an African pot, using fire to flavor that meat, and the wood that you're burning along with that fire, flavoring that meat. That's the flavor that they're actually looking after. And that's why when they eat the food that we make here, it blows their mind away.
There's a big shift within especially the young, affluent African people now to become proud of their heritage, to become proud of where they come from. And we thought, why not take the food that we grew up on, you know, which our grandmothers are cooking, which our mothers are cooking, and which we grew up on, and just take it to a place like Sandton. If means that we have to revolutionize bringing African food to Santon, let's be that, you know. And the response has been fantastic. It's been overwhelming. It's been very, very good.
There was a German guy who came in here and ordered ulusu. Our GM suggested that he orders ulusu, and apparently he ate that up like it was ice cream. You know what I mean? And we don't take our ulusu away from our tradition. I cook it exactly the same way my mother cooks it, the way she was taught by her mother to cook it, the way we all cook it, just traditionally, plain, with salt and onions, that's it.
The whole feeling of being home, it's always there. You always have that humility when you come in, not only through people when you walk in here, but also through the bell ring, so they come pick up the food, through the food as well, through the conversations, through the music. The culture is so strong here that you always come back for it. Our clients are repeat clients. They come once, I promise you, they always come back.
Just like being anywhere in the world, you always leave, you know, a footprint, an influence. My mother parted on me. Detail in flavor, detail in telling a story with every dish. I remember there's a soup that I'm going to introduce this winter, by the way. It's called Caleb soup. That's my grandfather. He used to cook this soup for my grandmother when he knew he'd done her wrong. So he would wake up every morning, well, not every morning, but on the mornings that he had known that the night before he'd messed up, he'd go and buy bones, which is what he could afford, buy some vegetables, buy some sugar beans, and slowly start cooking this most amazing soup. And it's come through the generations, and I'm going to be bringing it here as a reminder to people of our heritage and who we are. Once you eat that, just the flavors exploding in your mouth, just remind you of who you are and where you are in the world.
You watching Joburg today, the biggest city in the whole continent, baby. Holla at your boy.
Grow your business with Joburg Today TV. Request a rate card to get your brand, product, or service-focused feature produced, packaged, and delivered within 36 hours. Or have your special event covered, live or on demand. With amazing exposure on Joburg Today TV, delivering the best of you to your audience.
To keep the celebrations going and the drinks flowing, mixologist Khomus Ondaba gives us a few tips and tricks on how to create the perfect cocktail.
Cocktails is like cooking. It's inspired by a tequila cocktail called a margarita. So why it's a Joburg version is it just gives it that ambience. Joburg people just like having fun. South Africans are jolly people. They just like the alcohol. They just like having fun. So I decided to use mainly the things that I feel like they enjoy drinking when they're out, which is tequila, your Jägermeister, or rum, lime, and sugar syrup.
Khomoto says the twisted Joburg margarita is also something that you could totally do in the comfort of your own home, and this is how.
It's a shaken drink, of course. So you need a shaking glass, shaking mixing container. You need a measuring jigger. It's called a jigger, and a Hawthorne strainer, fine strainer. Twist it up. It's like cooking. So you can take out an ingredient, add something different. It might not taste as amazing, but just keep on playing around with it. Then you'll just eventually get something that you like and you'll enjoy. So that's why I always say that cocktails are like cooking. It's also the kitchen, then the bar, guys. It's not just, you have to be creative. So ice is a special ingredient because it's what interacts with the spirit. Do you understand? It's like dancing. You can't drink without having music. So the ice is like just the little spice to the magic of the cocktail.
And just in case you're not a fan of alcohol,
there's a lot of like non-alcoholic gins right now that are coming up in the market. So you can use that to substitute with the alcohol that's used in the drinks. Then you can obviously use your sugar syrup, your lemon juice the same way. Just substitute the alcohol beverage with a non-alcoholic beverage.
also, are cocktails exclusive to females?
What I like about margaritas are for everybody. It's not like a daiquiri where it's like purple or green or it doesn't have a color. So it's for everybody.
This blow-by-blow guide of the twisted Joburg margarita happens within the walls of the Mixed Cocktail Bar. And perhaps this is why you should visit.
We make the best margaritas in Joburg, first of all. You will get like your value for money. That's why Mixed Bar is the go-to restaurant around Joburg. Like it's a place where you meet after work, after drinks. Like you come meet up for drinks, have sundowners. Like it's a place where you pre-meet before going to a nightclub.
The Festival of Lights is a great opportunity to see the Joburg Zoo come alive at night, all the while enjoying stellar performances underneath a starry sky.
Loving it, the lights, the crowd, the entertainment, and really enjoying it.
It's been so magical. We've had to socially distance, which is completely okay, but I think that it's nice to do something outside where you can still socially distance, everyone's wearing their masks.
Come here, rejuvenate, relax, and just, thank yourself for coming through this pandemic. I mean, it's been quite, difficult for most of us, and for you to come here, relax, have a fantastic evening.
Joburg City Parks and Zoo encourages friends and families to take a tranquil walk through the zoo and see and feel the magic of the festive season.
If you look at it, I mean, people have been indoors for the better part of the year. This is an opportunity to be outdoors and, of course, observing all the COVID-19 protocols. At night, enjoy the lights in their various form and enjoy the music.
The festival is in collaboration with City Power, which is responsible for bringing the zoo alive at night with lights.
Events like this, they help us to just find that point of exhaling all the pressure points and also resetting for the next day. For us to be productive, we need to pause at times without neglecting our duties, but it's very critical for the emotional balance.
Performances included the famous Joburg Ballet's Nutcracker, which they say has a taste of the Joburg life with a twist.
I think it's important to be out here firstly because this is our first actual public performance this year due to COVID. So we're very excited just to be out here and perform again.
Traveling around Johannesburg could not have been made any easier during this season. The Gautrain is always there to make sure that you arrive right on time.
Because I'm a girl on the move, the Gautrain helps me get from A to B very quickly. I have my call time in an hour. In Johannesburg, let's go. Now, because I live in Pretoria, but I work in Johannesburg, the Gautrain has made my life a whole lot easier. I easily owe my career to the Gautrain because it's effortless, it's affordable, and it's comfortable. From Pretoria to Johannesburg in the blink of an eye, all thanks to Gautrain. I've made it to set 10 minutes early. I'm gonna go shoot. Bye!
What's up? My name is Christopher Jafta and you are watching Joburg Today. Boom!
What's your content fix? Is it tourism and entertainment? Lifestyle? Health and fitness? Perhaps it's current affairs? Or just business? For the best local content, live and on demand, watch it anywhere, on any device. You'll find it all right here on Joburg Today. Essential, relevant, authentic.